right, let's do it.
Oh boy. And I don't even have my bot up or anything. I'm way behind.
Yeah,
I'm sure
Carol
we'll be
Z's
fine.
wondering if I'm getting any rain. Yeah, it's raining in the backyard, but not the front yard. So that means I'm gonna have to mow the backyard.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice here today. I was telling Jeff, it's 62 degrees right now,
Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
which is unreal for the way it has been. I'll put it that way. Um, and I haven't checked yet, see if 101 was going live tonight or not. So we'll have to see if he
Uh,
comes in.
well, he said last night he was gonna go live Friday.
Yeah, it's hard to say with him nowadays. It's like he gets a hair stuck up his butt and, oh, let's go live.
Well, I know how y'all. You notice how I put
Y'all.
that. I notice how y'all Yankees are. You know.
Well, you're far enough up there north now. I don't know.
No. What a minute. I'm still south of the Mason-Dixon line, even though I am north.
Well, let me ask you this: like being from the north,
Yeah, right.
and you have South Carolina? Do you South Carolina and North Carolina kind of have like a rival kind of thing going?
It's a friendly rival, more
Okay,
with. Okay, it ain't no knockdown, drag 'em out rivals.
yeah. It's like, oh, you're up, no, you're from up north.
I've truthfully, I've never heard that. You know. Hello, Great Jams. Hello, Nut House. Rhaegar Adventures. What Life. Hello. And let me back up for
The
a minute.
Yankees.
And yes, I am getting rain. Yeah, Carol Z.
Yeah.
It's raining in the backyard. It ain't raining in the front, so that means we're gonna have to mow the backyard.
Well, to be honest, um, Jeff was on vacation, and I don't like advertising that he was on vacation or anything. So I kind of did fib and say I was busy, which I'm always busy, but so I didn't go live
Is it blue
uh,
cheese?
Monday
Some blue cheese. I'm gonna try that.
because he was out of town, but he's back now. So, but like I said, I was going to go live Wednesday anyway because, and it was just going to be me. But since he's already here, you know,
Yeah, the vacation, the supposedly vacation I was on, it was a bust. And, anything or everything that went wrong did, and I'm gonna leave it alone at that. But that, like I said, that was a bad vacation.
hey, like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, it used to be. I mean, at summertime, you would go camping and everything, but I don't know. I think we getting so used to that cold air when we're coming inside. You don't want to go out and do anything, and then you almost expect it when you go on vacation and whatnot.
Well, wait a minute. Wife just fixed some French fries and brought me some. Uh, my time of when I love to go camping is usually in the fall or the winter.
Oh yeah, fall is awesome because I
Yeah,
mean if it's too hot, you sit there, get your fire out there, and you have to get so far back you can't really enjoy the fire.
Exactly.
Hey, White Rock Homestead, good to see you.
And you know and you ain't got to worry about bugs. You ain't got to worry about snakes.
Yeah.
You know, getting in your sleeping bag with you. You know. But yeah, and if you go camping during the summertime, to be truthful about it, you're hot and miserable.
Yeah.
You know, and I noticed over the last couple of days, our air conditioner went out down there. Okay. I'm not as young as I used to be. I used to be able to deal with it. With that heat down there at the coast, it took a lot of it out. And I'm just now getting back in the swing of things. And I was only, maybe a good day. But you talking 90-degree weather and it's humid, damn gnats, excuse me, the gnats and the mosquitoes are out. Yeah,
Well, did you enjoy the drive down there though?
Hell no.
Oh, well, usually they're pretty good drives, you know.
Well,
Or did you take the busy end of the route?
okay, going down there. Let me say this right here. When I take my medicine, I get so cotton picking sleepy. I mean, it's all I can do to stay awake.
Oh yeah.
The day I went down there, sorry about that. The day I went down there, my wife was jumping my tail because I did not take my medicine that morning. I stayed awake the whole time. Now, when I come back, I had to take my medicine because I done skipped that morning. I couldn't do it again. We come back the busy route. Down there, we took the scenic route, which took us about 3.5 hours. Coming back, it took about 3 hours. Okay. I thought I fell asleep a couple times at the wheel coming back. That's how bad I got. And I told the wife, I said, we got to pull off. We got to pull over or something like that. You know, I got to stretch my legs. We wasn't even halfway point yet. And I done pretty good. And within the last 50 miles, I got so sleepy again, I had to pull off again. And then when I got home, I went in there and sat down on the couch. I don't even remember falling asleep.
Well, it's good that you pulled over, though.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, but
even if it takes a little bit longer to, because sometimes that road gets that vibration and that driving and the air hitting
and
the
face. Sound from the road.
Yeah, it puts you to sleep real quick if you're tired.
Oh, trust me, on the way back, the air conditioner was going full blast.
Yeah, I get to where I'm like, well, I need to save money on gas, so I'm just going to roll the windows down, and about 10 minutes later, the windows are back up and the AC's back on. I'm like, no, it's too hot.
Well, now I'm the only one that smokes. My wife quit smoking when our last youngin was born. Okay, which was 36 years ago. That's how long she's been smoke free.
Well, that's good.
It is. It really is. And when we in the car and I fire one up, the window goes down on my side. but yet she's still sitting over there griping. I smell the smoke. That smoke's getting over here. Yes, you do too, do that.
That
But
frees me.
It's for somebody that smoked and then to smell it. It's you almost get the taste of it.
mm-hmm.
And because I used to smoke and I quit after my kids told me they needed me around to make sure I stopped smoking, so I just stopped smoking after that. But
Well,
when you and the thing is there's a difference in the smoke. Like if I smell smoke in it and it's a cheap cigarette,
mm-hmm.
it almost makes me sick because I can smell the cheap cigarette. And then there is when somebody smokes a good cigarette. I know it sounds weird, but you can almost taste it, and you get that taste in your mouth, and it makes you think about smoking.
It's
Even though
like
I wouldn't start smoking again.
it's like good pipe tobacco. Okay,
Yeah,
you know when somebody fires that pipe up, you can tell if it's like you said cheap tobacco or if it's imported and cost.
yeah.
But now I will go out and say this: when I come home from the hospital a few years ago, that's a damn week I did not smoke. All right. My daddy was a chain smoker, bad. He smoked 3.5+ packs a day.
Ooh,
And before you come into the house, you could smell it out in the yard. And it would damn near make you sick just to
and them was
smell
strong cigarettes back then too.
it. This was around
Lucky
2012.
Strikes.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, I've smoked Lucky Strikes. I've smoked Humpback Pall Malls.
Oh,
And
yeah.
worst one out of all of them was Chesterfield's. If you remember
Chesterfield.
the
I don't know if I remember those, and so
man, they would make a humpback Pall Mall light cigarette. And I mean, it's like going out to the tobacco field and firing up a leaf right there. That's how bad it was.
yeah, yeah. But I'm really, and I remember my uncle smoking uh, Lucky Strikes, and then he went to Pall Mall. But you always know when somebody smokes that doesn't have a filter because it's
Yeah. All their fingertips are yellow.
yeah.
So, and for someone who used to smoke or smoked humpback cigarettes, y'all know what I'm talking about when your fingertips are yellow.
Hey, waking up country.
You know, you had her up on your live, what, about a week or so ago?
Um, yeah, week almost 2 weeks.
Singing Jack. I'm gonna tell you that now. I mean, even when I start singing in the shower, the shower starts jumping. So I'm not singing nothing.
Yeah, I still want to get both of them up on the live one of these days.
Mm. I'm sitting here eating French fries. I'm sorry. But I have yet to go up
Look at
and
nothing.
see either one of her.
What do you say?
They do lives on Tuesdays. I think it's 8 o'clock our time.
It may be.
Yeah.
And hypnotism don't work on me.
Yeah, I seen this. I seen that one time. It was supposed to be a comedy thing, which it was, but uh, they asked for volunteers, and he said he could hypnotize everybody. And I was supposed to be the one that he's going to put to sleep. And I don't. My sleep is not normal, so I said no. That's not going to happen. And everybody up there, the person next to me was turned into a dog, and then one person was supposed to stop smoking, and then he comes to me, and everybody else completely went like boom, and they were hypnotized. And he's sitting up here, and he's doing this, listen to my voice, and this and that, and he say, when I snap my fingers, you're gonna fall asleep. And and the funny thing is, I seen everybody in the front row pass out, and I'm sitting there like, I'm fine. And he turns around. I don't know if it was meant to do this, but everybody in that front row was sleeping. And he said, and then he says, he turned around and said, whenever I snap my fingers, you'll wake back up. And boom, everybody in the front row woke back up. And I was like, that was crazy. And he said, well, evidently I can't hypnotize you. I said, well, maybe if you would have picked something else other than sleep, it might have worked.
Nut House, let me tell you something real quick. I've been married 42 years. Ain't no way in hell you're going to hypnotize me.
Okay, now we can get along with our subject. If we kind of got a thing going with YouTube. I have to do conversations and stuff that don't pertain to anything really, because 15 minutes and then they stop watching my channel. So the thing that I wanted to talk about, as you can tell, the title was the deadly mistakes people basically made during the Great Depression. And I was sitting there looking through a lot of this, and a lot of it pertains to now, because we've been having a lot of conversations about money, how things are so hard on people and whatnot. And like back in the Depression, the things that were deadly mistakes was like too much debt. Right before it happened, everybody was starting to borrow money to buy property, to buy cars, and the fancy new refrigerators. And I don't know if they had TVs.
I don't think they had radios.
Yeah, I know the radios. Yeah, I don't think that maybe the really rich people had the TV, but
back in the 29 and 30s, I can't really say. I can honestly, I don't think they did. I really don't. Because everything I've seen on TV was either back from the 40s.
Yeah, 40s. Yeah, I remember a lot in the 40s. I do know that they had like the silent things.
Right.
Yeah. But
now that was in theaters more or less than it was anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, they did have silent see, I don't know if it was actually on TV or just I seen it again on TV.
Where's trust at when you need him to ask questions?
Yeah, but like I said, the whole debt thing, that is one of the main killers that of the depression was the debt. And another one was not having a cash reserve, which I know there's a lot have been saying this lately, that they've had, you know, money set aside, but things are getting so bad now that stack of money that's in the bank or under your mattress or whatever is getting lower and lower, and it's almost like it's repeating itself with these steps that because I went and did research on things, what started the depression and how it got worse, and the things that we went through. Well, I didn't go through, my grandpa did. And like living on 100% of your income is what they call it, is when you have a job and you work your 40 hours, or which usually it's more than 40 hours nowadays, but you're working that much time and you get paid. And at the end of the day, when you get done paying your bills and you getting your groceries, you have nothing left, and you have to wait until your next paycheck to get the other stuff that you need for your house. And that's living on 100% of your income.
Well, now I know when me and the wife, first couple of years after we got married, my father and a couple of the wife's uncle told me the same thing. When you go get or rent a house at that time, make sure that your rent is not over a quarter of what you make.
Mm-hmm.
And French fry went down wrong. And, you know, in other words, for a couple, try to base everything off of one paycheck, you know, and put the other one back. And I reckon at that time, banks were coming up, getting big and everything. You know, put it in the bank, let it draw interest in everything.
And that's another part that's coming up on my little list. I've got a list over here so I don't forget what I'm talking about. But
if I could write, I would do the same thing.
Another thing was the facts that a lot of the banks in. Hold on, I got a cat trying to get in here.
Damn, sounds like that cat screaming.
There we go.
Sounds like that cat was screaming.
He won't shut up if he's fine unless there's a closed door, and then if there's somebody on the other side, he's going, let me in.
It must be a blonde female cat then.
No, I only have male cats now. So unfortunately, I miss my little Evie. But like I said, one of the main issues was banks, and what's happening with our banks now is
same thing.
It's the same thing. We're going through the same stages that the depression was, and our fearless leader in Washington, we're not even in a recession. He's turned down that we're even in a recession, that we're doing good and everything, and it's like, how do you not see this? And
because he's not out buying gas or groceries, he's got other people he pays to go do all this stuff for him. plain and simple. And something else too, when you was talking about depression and so forth, we are in another, what is it? When that happened? Back in 29, early 30, when the depression hit?
Yeah.
I think so. Okay. The generation that went through
19 to 29, I think, something in that range.
I believe it was. I mean, really. But the people that lived through that era are no longer here. Or if they are, it's like what, 1 in 100. But the people today don't know what it was like. And it is repeating, or is starting to repeat all over again. And it started with the banks and the finance company. Now, keep your eye out on the banks. What's going on with the banking system now is practically the same thing that happened in 1929.
Yeah, and there's another good point right there. At least they had some skills that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's like the animal population almost disappeared, like deer, rabbits, and stuff, because people went out and hunted for their food until they almost wiped them out.
Now, Bubba News said something I had forgot about. Well, tonight, the market crash in 1929,
Yeah,
and then the Dust Bowl in the 1930s. That, get on YouTube and read some of the stuff that they ate during the Dust Bowl days. That will freak you out.
$2,500. Dang.
That's serious. He says it year round.
Even in this town here, you can't find a place under $750.
Now, the town that I grew up in,
and there's some really, really sketchy areas in this town that I can't believe that they charge more than $50 for, but it's over $750 for some of these places. A house is $1,500 to $2,500, and that's
and that's a cheap one.
And the minimum wage, you add that up, and it doesn't compute. It doesn't, you can't. I don't see how one person could provide for the family.
Robert, I agree with that. And that doesn't include utilities.
Yeah.
And utilities now are out of control. I mean, the last 3 months, and I'm not going to say, but our utilities have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Me and the wife, we are on a fixed income. When we first started, we could put back a little bit. I ain't saying a lot, but we could put back a little bit. Now, what we did put back, we're having to dip into it to pay our bills. And 101, what was it, Tuesday night, said the same thing. And he's working. We're not.
Yeah.
15-minute cities, folks. Think about it.
Yeah. And that's, and you can just imagine how much it's going to be. It's like the people coming over, they cross the border and they got their hands out, they get $2,200 a month. People that's worked all their lives
can't even get a full.
The average Social Security is $1,400. If you're lucky, you get 1,400.
Damn, I don't get that much.
Oh, either do
And
I.
look,
I think it's 1,100. I think maybe 1,200, and that's it. So, why is somebody that's never paid a tax, never did anything for the country, comes in and gets $2,200, and people who work their whole lives doesn't get half of that?
oh,
Makes no sense.
food stamps. Right here is another subject.
Yeah.
Pisses me off. Yeah, and I said that too. So get over it. You got well, I ain't gonna say a family, but you got a husband and wife. They don't work their whole cotton picking life, and I'm talking busting tail. Okay, 50, 60-hour week jobs, both of them. They're only allowed to get $24 a month.
Yeah.
Y'all take $24 out of your paycheck. Go buy enough groceries to last you a month on $24. It cannot be done. Ain't no friggin'
No. Even if he was to buy just
beans and
enough
rice.
beans, just beans, nothing else, you still wouldn't have enough for a whole month.
No.
I went and got a loaf of bread.
Hell, that's $3.
Yeah, and lunch meat.
That went $12 right there.
And cheese, and that was my 12, because I get $12.
Robert Bates, I gotta hold back. This ain't my show. This is Bushcraft's. But
it makes no sense.
yeah, our government is screwing us every which way they can and not giving us no Vaseline or a steak dinner.
Yeah, and
Hello,
I brought up a subject today about the crypto, because crypto all of a sudden was crashing.
did it?
Yeah, it has been for like almost 3 weeks, and the point of it is, it is the actual banks, or the higher ups, that are trying to crash it to where they get everybody to bail out, sell everything they have before it's all gone. Because there's something coming. It's the totally going digital, where that paper dollar is useless.
Hang tight. I'm going to address something in chat. Great jams. Trey asked me, is it true that you pay taxes when you die? Yes. It's called death taxes. You don't pay them. Your loved one pays them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even if you're buried in a casket, even if it has a crank on the side to pop you up, you still have to pay taxes on that casket.
Yeah. I mean, even after you, I hate to say it like this, but after you're dead and gone, the government's still screwing you.
Oh, yeah.
Why ain't you on my channel, Bushcraft? You bring this up. Hey, there's a bunch of stuff I want to say.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody out there already knows.
Yeah, I know, but it makes me feel better when I say it too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, there's a video on TikTok, which it probably came from YouTube, but she talks about, she gets her paycheck and she notices that, oh, they took out what 17% of my paycheck for taxes, and she goes and she has to pay taxes on her
Tax.
house, and she has to pay taxes on her license plates and
Yep.
driver's license, and you have to pay taxes on the food that you get. And it's like by the time you're left with whatever you have left, you've been taxed over and over and over. And it doesn't end there. Where you buy the stuff at the store, they have to pay taxes on the stuff that you paid for,
Exactly.
and had the taxes taken out on them. They have to pay taxes. The distributor has to pay taxes on the food that they sold to the store, and they have to pay tax on the guy who delivered the stuff. And it's a never ending little loop that everybody's going through.
And then you got road tax on your gas to get it from point A to point B.
Yeah. Even
And-
your drinks. You
Yeah.
know, you like a soda pop, there's tax on the soda, extra tax, because the taxes or soda is making people obese and stuff. So, we have to extra tax it so they don't.
Uh-huh.
But instead of making it healthier, yeah,
Now,
it's all a gimmick.
Now, let me bring something else up. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but if you live in the city, okay, you got to pay city tax, you got to pay county tax, and you got to pay state tax. Now, if you live in the county, you pay county tax and state tax.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I'm done.
Mhm.
You know, out of 3, you pay 2 if you live in the county.
Yeah,
That-
they tell you when for city tax, it's to pay for the schools.
Yeah, and
I don't
county.
have any kids in school. I shouldn't have to pay tax anymore.
Yeah, but you ain't gonna finagle your way out of that, and
No.
that's a nice way to say it. And county tax is for the roads,
Yeah.
you know. So shit, I only drive once, maybe twice a month. Why should I have to pay taxes? And
Yeah.
you got to pay taxes when you buy tires, and then you got to pay the dump for them to take your tires. So yeah, and some of these states, I think Virginia, South Carolina, they say you don't have to pay tax, but trust me,
Oh yeah.
do
They
pay.
make it up though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, West Virginia's, you don't have to pay property tax.
hell,
but
I'm even.
There's city and county and all that stuff that goes down the line, state.
It averages out.
Yeah.
So
But it's nice not to have that. If you don't pay your taxes, then we're putting your property up on auction thing.
oh. Let me say something. I don't know if this is going to pertain to what we're talking about today or not. I know you don't watch pinball.
Oh, I do. I just don't comment because
Okay, did you watch his thing today?
no, not today. I haven't watched anything today.
To where there was a town in Tennessee that he named the county, the town, and everything. They had a meeting, and they had slipped in under the table a thing that they was wanting that whole city to do a HOA thing. And the people in that town found out about it the last minute. There was people outside who was wanting in and could not come in. And I mean,
Sounds about right.
those county commissioners that was there really got an earful. If y'all did not see it, please go back, watch pinball of today. I think it was at lunchtime. He come out with it.
Beat it.
Now,
Thanks for coming out. If you're still there.
now y'all think about it. If they done that in Tennessee,
Oh yeah.
how many other states are they trying to do this in? HOA for the whole town. That means they can tell you what car you can and cannot have in your driveway.
Oh,
What color paint your house.
it's pretty much like that now, even without an HOA. Because
Yeah,
they have committees. They have committees in cities now that you have to cover up if your vehicle sets for more than so many days. It has to be covered up, and
Oh
like,
yeah,
I can't collect rainwater because they don't want mosquitoes. And I said, well, I would cover it up so there wouldn't be any mosquitoes getting in there. Oh, but if we let you do it, then everybody else is going to want to do it. Yeah.
and you also, if you piss them off, or excuse me, but if you tick the county off, they're going to charge you for runoff on account of the rainwater.
Yeah. There's it's horrible how and the thing is, all these people that do these and make all these rules and stuff are supposed to be working for us. And we're doing this for you.
If you're doing this for me, then don't even try to slip it under the table.
Yeah, let me have my opinion on it, and we'll go from there.
Exactly. Now, I refuse. I'm like Pete and a couple more in chat who says they refuse to live in a community with HOA. Let me put it like this. If I have to get me a tent and sleep out in the woods, I will not live in a community that has HOA.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you got to pay out the wazoo for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to paint your house,
yeah, if you put your trash can on the wrong side,
they can fine you for it.
Yeah, it's closer for the
Or if your grass is a
you have to put it over here. Your doors are not supposed to be blue; they're supposed to be red. Yeah.
Hell, I paint mine teal and purple just to piss off.
Yeah, that's the thing I never understood is you paid for that and everything, but you pay another group to tell you what you can do with that property. And
wait a minute.
No sense to me.
Look at this. Grape jams. I got a ticket because my grass was 6 inches too high already. That was in Illinois.
Oh yeah. I've been warned about that many times. I like grass. I don't like that so short that it looks like that fake carpet stuff. I like weeds in my grass, like the flowers and clover and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I do too.
If it gets, I don't know, that high is perfect to me because it's greener. You look at everybody on my street. Everybody's grass is yellow and dying, and mine, I don't put nothing in there. I don't try to kill my weeds. I have the greenest grass on the block, and it's because I don't go out there every twice a week and mow the grass.
Shit, I'm lucky if I mow mine twice a month, depending on how much. Yeah, let me rephrase that. But now I have seen in the HOA when I was doing landscaping, We had to come out there and do it. And before we get the lawnmowers put back up and everything, somebody from HOA would come out with a yardstick and measure how high the grass was.
Yeah. And I was actually joking about the red door, but there you go. We painted our door red a couple of years ago, and the neighbor texted me and said, "Hey, the HOH didn't approve it." Oh man.
Susie D, our HOA,
Yeah.
only one dog or cat, not over 40 pounds.
What makes the difference if it's over 40 pounds or not? I don't. Some of
I
these.
reckon is the bigger the dog is, the bigger the droppings would be.
Yeah, but you wouldn't leave it set out in the yard. Well, some would, but
I do.
That would be more of a rule, saying you have to clean up your poop, not, oh, their dog's too big.
I do. I go out there with a lawnmower and spread it out.
Yeah. See, I don't. I've actually went and looked at some property, and I was like, "Oh, this is nice." And does this area require an HOH or anything? Yes. Okay. Goodbye. I don't.
But you'd be surprised
Nope.
how many people want HOA. That's what gets me.
Yeah. Well, some of them, they make it sound so good. Like if you're close to a lake or something, they say, well, you get privileges to where you can go and drop your boat off and stuff like that. And you get this little camping area for free and whatever. But I would rather not have those people involved and just, wait in line to drop my boat off. Even I don't even have a boat, but that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, I'm like this. If I live close to a lake, and I would tell them I don't want lake privileges, but in my mind, that's a 3 a.m. Lake right there. And a lot of people know what I'm talking about. I'll go down there at 3 a.m. and fish it.
Yeah.
It won't be the first time. But now back in the Great Depression, okay, and we've covered this story thousands of times.
Yeah.
There was more gardens during the Great Depression, even in this city. Now, HOA, and I'm not for sure about this or not. I don't know if you can have a garden in your backyard if you have an HOA.
Well, TJ's talked about her issues with the HOH when her neighbor complained that her garage or her shed was like 2 inches over the line or something.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
And it wasn't that it was over on his property. You couldn't have it close to a fence. And I'm like, it's 2 inches. That's really bothering you that much?
Yeah. Now, I think down here where I'm at, I think it's something like, if you got a property line, you cannot build within 3 foot of that property line.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's a shed. It's not like it's a permanent building.
Mine would be permanent because I would pour concrete on it, something to stand on. And I think that's the law. A permanent foundation cannot be, 3 foot? 3 foot or 6 foot from the property line. So it's like this right here. If I cannot build something up to 3 foot and my neighbor cannot build anything up to 3 foot, that's a total of 6 foot. Who the hell owns it?
Yeah. And why can't you have fences over 7 feet? That I don't
Because
understand.
you nosy neighbors can't see what you're doing. And trust me when I say this, I have had some nosy neighbors would peek through the blinds, and I would catch them, and they would get a moon, or something like that. Hey, what goes on over here is
None of your
our
business.
business.
Yeah.
How would you like it if I sat, and I have done this, on my roof with a pair of binoculars looking at you? I have done. Never mind. That's a whole different story. I'm not getting into.
Yeah, that's what I want it to have property where I don't have to worry about neighbors or anything. Like, I'm sure everybody knows the issues I'm having right now with neighbors, and
Some of them you just want to walk up to and just slap them. Get some sense.
yeah.
That'd be a lot of slapping for some people. Oh, and Lake just hit on something. Nosy neighbors is another thing.
Oh yeah.
I am, to an extent, okay? I'll put it like that. Anything after 8 o'clock to me is noisy.
Oh, noisy. I thought you meant nosy.
Wait a minute, did she say noisy or nosy?
Nosy.
Oh, okay. I apologize. She said nosy neighbors.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there's a difference between nosy and, like, if somebody comes up the road that doesn't belong there, and
Right.
you're like, oh, there's somebody new coming, that's one thing. But, like, and I've brought this up before for people prepping and stuff. If you go to the store and you buy a few cases of corn or something, and you're carrying this in, because it has been an issue with Potato Head being president, that he has made it a thing if people are stocking up to let officials know that so and so is stocking up food and stuff. And that's why I say, if you're in the city or whatnot, or little county town or something like that, if you are buying this stuff, I wait till 3 o'clock in the morning and bring it in. I'll leave it set in the vehicle because I do have people that
Nosy.
will gawk at everything you do.
Now, so far, I've been lucky. Within the last 10 years. Well, I'm going to go back and say
Hey,
last
Waffle.
years. But I prefer the county. I prefer less people around me,
Mhm.
because what I do on my property is my personal business. If I live in a city, like you said, everybody wants to know everything that's going on. And if I want other people to know, I'll tell them. Hell, if I walk in the house, if I just bought a pew pew, AK, and then you got a nosy neighbor that's scared to death of guns, they
Yeah.
on the phone with the police right there and then, like that. And then you got them at your door They want to know what you got, how many of what. It ain't none of their damn business.
Yeah.
If I don't have a police record, or if I'm not, let's say, a smart aleck, I'll put it like that. You keep moving my toilet paper. You know, what business is it of yours? Leave me alone. I've not bothered nobody. And
Yeah.
I want to say this right here. That's another reason in my mind, I think a lot of people are going stir crazy. You know.
Yeah. Here's another one. Glad to be living on 73 acres in Idaho. Pretty much have free reign. Yeah, you can have a live stream and not wear pants.
Oh, you mean you got to wear pants during live stream? Dixie, get me a pair of blue jeans.
Well, she brought up during a live last week that she wasn't wearing any pants.
Hey, I have mowed the yard without no pants on. That's how far back we are, you know. And 73 acres. Do you want to sell a couple of acres? But I want one close to a stream, so I put a hammock up and fish.
Oh, you should go watch some of their videos.
Like
I said, there are two different channels, but they're on the same property. And no, they're not a couple; they're good friends.
Well, now I did not mention nothing about
No,
it.
it's a long going thing because that's like
okay.
one of their questions that they get, I guess, a lot.
Really?
So they actually made the intro to answer the question right away.
I would have said that's our business, and if we are, what's it to you?
But like I said, when they mill their own lumber and everything, and you can in the background you can see the lake in the distance, and you just see the lake and woods.
That is my dream right there. If I was to win the Powerball, I would have to buy enough acreage with a lake and a river on it. That's all I want. I don't care if it's got a house on it or not. I'll build my own dog house. Now, that's where I stay at the most anyways, in my dog house. And I don't even have a dog no more.
Yeah.
Peaceful.
And
like I said, I bet it's peaceful.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
except for the moon dust.
Moon dust. Really? They got moon dust?
Yeah.
Time for me to get my magnifying glass out.
Well, it's because it's so dry there. Every time they step, the dust comes up, and it looks like they're on the moon.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, you were talking about the depression gardens, or what they call it, victory gardens.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from, the depression and whatnot.
Well, now, a few years ago, when I started getting into all this heavily, I seen up on YouTube, and I'm talking like New York. They had a block up there. It was a community garden, okay? That the whole community took that one whole block and made a garden out of it. And I want to say they had people that was there 24/7. If you did not have nothing planted or anything like that, you could not really come in and get nothing. It was only for the people who planted their garden. They could interact if they wanted to sell it, to different people, which I think all of them did, end up selling to people like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't allow it in there.
You have a good night.
But I think
we used to have one over here. It was actually behind Bueller's. There was a strip of land that just there wasn't nothing there, and they you could have little plots to grow a garden, and it's just a bunch of weeds now. Nobody does anything over there now.
Well, see, somebody had mentioned a while back ago, let's say in the city, okay, plant a apple tree or pear tree or fruit tree, something like that. I ain't saying side by side, one or two like that. I think, my opinion, that's a good idea. And if you've got a plot of land in the city, nobody's really mowing or looking after it, go till it up. Go make a garden out of it.
Elderberry syrup? Oh, that sounds good. You have a good night.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on my elderberry tree this year. I just found out I got one last year. And when I found out, the birds just about beat me to it.
Oh, yeah. They're good at that.
Yeah. Oh, I got a tree out back that's about ready to become a female tree. All my squirrels are stealing the nuts off of it. I got a black walnut tree out back, and one of the limbs has done got so heavy with walnuts on it, it's on the ground. The limb itself has done split. And I'm like this, if the nuts ain't dead and the leaves ain't dead, I ain't messing with it. But, after the leaves are falling and everything, I'll go out there and fix it up.
Yeah, if you could get some elderberries growing, that's some good stuff.
How many people are familiar with muscadines and scuppydines? I think in blackberries, Lord have mercy.
Somebody down in Tennessee that has a whole orchard, I guess you would call it, orchard of muscadines, and they make their own wine and everything.
Now, I can't never get the two right. It's the purple is either muscadines and the green ones are scuppydines, or it's vice versa. The purple ones are the best. But trust me when I tell you this, and this is from experience. If you've never ate none, don't go and grab you a handful and then eat them all, because you ain't going to have enough toilet paper.
Unless you're constipated.
Yeah, then you're liable to explode. But I mean, it's good until your system
gets
used to it.
And the purple are the really sweet ones.
Yes, they are. They the best ones. But come on, before I got my driver's license, we used to walk everywhere, and we had a pear tree in the backyard. I would fill my pockets up with pears. And on the way, we'd find scuppydines or apple trees. Some of them apple trees, really, we wasn't allowed to pick, but, I have things go. Yeah, I mean, when you walking, you'll find some fruit.
It used to be a lot more than it is now.
Yeah, it is. People are cutting them down. Oh, they eyesores is what they are. It ain't an
Well,
eyesore.
that's the thing that got me about, um, global warming. That the whole global warming thing is w- it was the carbon footprint. Okay, what gets rid of carbon? Trees.
Well,
And they emit, they clean the
really?
air and all that stuff. So why are we keep cutting down like in town here? Uh, if a tree looks a certain way, oh, we got to get rid of it, cut it down, and then all of a sudden this town is being a lot of wind damage. It's
Uh-huh.
because all the trees are gone, and that's what slows the wind down. And that's the same thing they had issues with in um,
Dust Bowl.
the Dust Bowl.
Yeah,
They cut all the trees down to build the houses and the farms and the barns and everything, and it was all flat land. And then all the dust came because there was nothing to hold it back. They
exactly.
learned from this mistake, and that's why you see the farms. They'll have these trees on the edges of their farms. It's a wind barrier.
Well, look at California. Look how many landslides they have.
Yeah,
Because there ain't no trees out there when heavy rains come, or
yeah,
let's say the monsoon season for California.
yeah.
There ain't nothing there to hold the ground together. Yeah, and something else too. Our plants, not just the trees, the grass and everything, they give off oxygen.
Oh yeah.
So with all that being cut down, how's people going to survive? They not.
Yeah. If all the plants died, life's over. You have oxygen goes, the food goes,
Yep.
um, no moisture in air for rain, and everything dries out. We'd turn into Mars.
I think that's where we head way in the future.
And then they say that's Mars used to have rivers and lakes and all that stuff. I'm wondering if that's what happened to Mars.
Have you ever thought deep down in the back of your mind, maybe some people from Mars came to Earth because they knew Mars was drying up?
Well, there is a movie of that where they go to Mars, and then they go in this thing and find out the whole origin of Earth and everything.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, and they say they used to live there, and then they spread the DNA to Earth so that life could go on.
Damn, I thought I was the only one that thought like that.
But it's a movie.
Yeah, but it had to come from a thought,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. But uh, get on YouTube, check out the recipe section. Dust Bowl recipes, depression recipes. Believe it or not, there's two different ones. For a long time, I followed, it was an elderly lady. I cannot think of her name. She lived through the Depression, and she would get up on YouTube and make dishes that she grew up on back into the Depression. And for some odd reason, I don't know why, but it started popping up, depression or the food from the Dust Bowl era.
Well, more people are searching for it. That's why it's popping up. That's usually what that means.
Yeah, well, okay, that just brought up another question. If a lot of people are starting to search for this, are they finally, the people that are searching, are they finally waking up to what's going on, or is it they just been holding back?
I would say it depends. I think it's more of like the homesteaders and things
Okay.
because they know that's where we're heading. So, oh, I need to learn how to make stuff from nothing, basically.
Well, you're right. And Chrissy Cat says, like the, it jumped on me. Wait a minute. Like the hillbillies cooking online, good stuff. Uh, Hillbillies, mountain people, they they didn't have much, but they would go out, they would go foraging for roots. And I hate to say this, they would eat possum, gopher, animals
Oh,
like
yeah.
that you wouldn't think about eating today. And
It was good, though.
yeah, and when you was invited to somebody's house to eat, the last thing you do is ask what we have. You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know.
And most time you don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly. If it tastes good, that's fine. Don't tell me what it is.
Yeah.
But and back.
Yeah, I'd like to. Well, I did the the book challenge, the prepper library thing. Again, it's been about a year, so I try to do this every year to where I uh, have people, show their books of what they have, and it might jog some memory of somebody somewhere. Oh, I should be getting books because if something bad happens, then I have some kind of a record of how to make bread or something like this. And one of the books, it's a really old book that I got at Goodwill for 25 cents. And it has some of the really old recipes in there. And some of the stuff they don't make anymore.
Mm-mm.
So I would have to come up with a replacement type thing for it. Some of the stuff that, the ingredients, they don't make that brand or anything like that anymore. And that's I would like to see some of that old recipes and stuff come back in circulation again so people know about that stuff. Because you know your grandma and your great grandma's recipe for whatever, a certain kind of bread or
Oh,
canned this or whatever. Once you're being the last one, once that knowledge dies with you, it's gone. It's no more.
there ain't.
Who else would know how to? If you didn't tell your grandkids or something about this, or you didn't write it down to hand down to somebody else, or make a video, um, if you didn't make this and pass it on, it's gone forever. And then every generation that passed that recipe down is gone.
Regina is
It's sad.
yes to your question. It was Clara. That is who done the depression cooking. And I mean, some of the stuff that she cooked, I remember what time my grandmother would let me in her house. I remember some of the stuff that she was cooking. And literally, she was a mountain woman. Okay. She stood about, oh hell, 4'5". She was short, but she would go toe to toe with a grizzly bear. And my wife has heard stories about her. Uh, I remember my daddy telling me that a man come to her house and called my daddy a liar, and my grandmother chased him back across the mountain with a butcher knife. And I asked Daddy, I said, was he telling the truth? He kind of snickered and laughed, and I said, he was. I said, what did you do? And he said he put his horse and buggy on top of his house and hitched them up. My first question was, how in the Sam heck did you get a horse and buggy on top of his house? And he said the way he built his house, the roof of the porch touched the mountain. So he rolled the buggy down and walked the horse down and hitched him up and took off. And I said, your mama was fixing the dice and slice him all to pieces. He said, yeah. He said, when Granny got mad, you did not mess with her.
Underestimate a shorty.
I literally, with my own eyes, and I wish they had video back then. I've seen my grandmother try to cut a log chain with a butcher knife because my daddy put a tire swing up in a pecan tree that the limb was on our property, and my granny did not like that, and she got ticked off about it. And the whole time she was sitting there trying to cut it with a butcher knife, the more we laughed, the madder she got.
Yeah, Chris Cat, they have that here,
you know,
here in Ohio.
But
She was something else.
yeah, who just said that? Pat Evans. I remember making baby food. Wait a minute, it jumped.
Oh yeah.
With fresh milk. Lord have mercy. You want to talk about fresh milk? I am with the chemicals that has been put into our whole milk. I cannot drink it. I'm lactose with that. But I can go to a dairy farm and I can get fresh milk from a cow right out of the metal tank. I can drink the whole gallon and it not mess with me. And that's the best milk anybody would ever taste.
Go back to 1950 and tell and go to the restaurant or something and they give you milk. Say, I can't have this. I'm lactose intolerant.
There wasn't no such thing back then.
What is that? There was no lactose intolerant back then.
They didn't put the chemicals in stuff back then as they do now. Our government is literally sitting there slowly and silently killing us. I don't know if I was supposed to have said that, but I did.
Probably not, because
oops, go back and edit this part out.
Well, the thing is, it's being put in the cow before it gets to the milking station.
A lot of it is. A lot of it is. But now, I don't care what anybody says. If it is any way possible to get milk out of a glass container, not plastic, glass, there's going to be a much better taste to it.
Well, it's better in that stainless steel drum.
Yeah, you're right.
You fill that thing and it's like
Your hands
32, 33 degrees. And it comes out. Oh, that's good milk there. Before it's been pasteurized or whatever they call it.
Yeah. And pray to God a cow didn't eat no raw onions either. Because you're going to taste it. But I mean, goat's milk. They say goat milk's great. I can't drink it. I can't get past the smell.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on the goat.
It does. Well,
And it depends if it's the male goat or the female goat too.
oh, let's don't even go there.
Maybe you got the milk from the male goat. That's why it smelled that way.
Whoa. Wait a minute. I got to address something.
Yeah.
Reaper. What the hell is a pecan tree? Please tell me that's a joke. Please. I don't think I've ever met anybody who don't know what a pecan tree is. A pecan, or pecan, or whatever part of the damn country you from. Because I know different parts of the country pronounces it different, but it's the same damn nut.
A pecan tree.
When somebody says a pecan tree, you know they're rich. Oh, hell. Chrissy Cat, really? Camel
milk.
Is that from the male or the female? That's just like getting milk from a bull.
I was watching this show. It's called Alone, where they take people out to live by themselves for a month to 2 months. Well, sometimes longer.
I've seen a couple.
I've been following this because I didn't have faith in the guy at first, and it was a guy from Georgia because he got lost the first day he was there. But he ended up, I was rooting for him to the end, but unfortunately he didn't make it. He was the third to the last one that quit, and I was really surprised at who ended up quitting on this. And the guy from Georgia was so bad at the end that he couldn't keep himself warm and everything. So they were technically going to make him stop anyway, but he ended up quitting. And I think it was like 70 some days.
Bushcraft, there's people in chat who's wanting me to say this already, and I have forgotten about it. Today is Hump Day. Okay.
Yeah, he can't say it on 101s now. He's only on the weekend.
I know. He don't come back on Wednesdays no more.
Yeah. Well, we were surprised yesterday because he showed up.
Yeah, really. I mean, I'm lucky because I had just woke up, about 30 minutes before he was supposed to have went live. And I flipped over there and damn, he was live.
Yeah.
So, okay, Reaper says he's not rich. He pays child support.
Yeah, that's a whole other story right there. That's another one there. The whole child support thing.
A Lake Fairy just thanked me. There is some people paying child support way up there in the millions for the simple
Well,
fact is
oh,
they,
that much, yeah.
yeah, well, no, you got basketball players, you got movie stars that's paying that. The
Oh,
only reason they're paying that is because the woman that married them knew they was going to end up getting a divorce to begin with, and she could get that much if she had a child from them. Plain and simple. And that was to me, that's a true gold digger.
well, but that the child does need,
No doubt.
but like
If
they
you're
shouldn't be buying them themselves new cars and new stuff that the money's supposed to go for the kid.
I'm let me back up and say this right here, and I might be able to clear myself up. If a man has a youngin, it is his responsibility to take care of that youngin,
Yeah.
even after that youngin has turned 18 years old. He will always be your son or your daughter. Just because they turn 18 don't mean they not going to need money. Plain and simple. You played the game, you got caught, it's time to pay. Plain and simple. And that goes also for women. And women, don't think I'm going to let y'all off with that either, because I have heard stories that after the youngin was born, they would walk off of their marriage, leave their husband and the
Oh
young.
yeah. It goes both ways.
Yeah, it does. So don't think one is as good as the other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to set myself clear on that right there, real quick. And something else, too. If you ever loan, quote, loan your children money, you'll never see it back.
Yeah. No.
Mama, can I borrow $100? Yeah, that's it. You don't see it from your wallet to his hand, and let me back up and redo that. 90% of the time, you'll never see that money. But if you got good youngins, you need help, they will help you. Okay, there. I may have redeemed myself on that.
Well, back to
But
the
now,
guard.
yeah, it's getting to the time, it's getting that time again to where families are starting to have to live together again because the prices of everything is going sky high.
Yeah.
That also means gardens again. Yeah, there is a lot of people my age, Bushcraft's age, our age in chat, okay, that's got to know how to do these things. You've got two generations now who don't even know what a seed is or what it's for. It's time to teach the youngins.
Yeah. And that's where I was getting ready to go to.
It's time
Say
to sit down on the front porch and snap beans again.
you go out and you know these guys that are sitting in the roadways and talking about the climate and everything. Um, hand them a pack of seeds
Hello,
and
Wolf.
tell them to grow something. Do you think that these people would be able to grow food to feed themselves?
No,
I mean, they
because
glue their hands to,
and
the,
it comes
to the street.
well, it comes down to this right here. Our generation has not taught them. It's not their fault that they are like the way they are.
Well, you can't
You
teach
know,
everybody, even
no, I'm not.
even if it's your kid. Some kids just don't. They, when they're old enough that they know everything, and they don't want to hear it.
And I've got one like that. I've got a grandson like that. He knows
But
everything.
eventually, sometimes they turn around and all of a sudden, yeah, they want to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
After that stage, but nowadays everything's in here. I'll go to YouTube or I'll go, wherever, and a lot of stuff. And unless you get to the right, YouTube channel or something, because there's a lot of YouTube channels that teach you how to grow a tomato. Very, very few of those will actually show you the right way to grow a tomato.
Yeah.
And it's just like everything out there. It could be storing water. There's thousands of prepper channels, but are these thousands of prepper channels, are they just saying it because they seen another prepper on another channel say how to store water?
All right, now wait a minute. Chris Cat, Jeff, there is a time when they grow up and should be responsible. In other words, accountable. I highly agree with that. But while they are youngins, you need to introduce them, or as another woman says, acquaint them with something like that. This seed does that. It grows this. You plant it, what, a half an inch deep. Even though they don't want to learn it right there and then, when they grow up, it will be stuck in the back of their mind. Well, I think I heard my daddy say you plant them a half inch deep and you got to water them, to start with, and so forth like that. I mean, go ahead while they're young, introduce them to all this stuff while you can. Yes, youngins is going to hit that age. I did that. My parents don't know nothing. I know more than they do.
Yeah.
And then toward the lateral part of the years, they're going to realize, hey, my parents was right the whole time.
Oh, yeah. You can't do that now. You can't have them do chores now. That's
Who says?
yeah, it's a thing now. You can actually get in trouble for having your kids do chores.
Then I would be in trouble every day. Straight up.
Yeah.
My house, my rules. Accept it or leave.
Yeah. Well, there's I seen it this one where this lady was and got to be careful with this conversation. She disciplined her kids the old-fashioned way, and they got mad, and the kid got mad and called, the services, and they came to the house and said, we have to check on your house and make sure that you're disciplining the kids right and everything. And she says, I'll plain out and tell you what I did. I disciplined them the old-fashioned way, and if they don't like it, they can get out. and she says, and I want you guys to leave here right now too. I said, and a bunch of choice words in there and everything. And she basically told them why she disciplined the kid because they did something very bad and got brought home in a popo car, and that's why the kid got disciplined. And she said, if you don't like it, then that's the rules for living here. You do something bad, that's the rules.
Now I'm gonna tell you like this, and this is fact. I had to be called home from work, and it was a new job. I ain't been there 2 months yet because one of my youngins was acting up. They couldn't handle it. And yeah, I'll go ahead and say it was my daughter at the time. And I got her on the phone. I said, if I have to come home, I said, I'm going to tear your tail up. I said, expect that if I get another phone call. 20 minutes later, I got another phone call, and I done told the boss what was going on and everything. And as I was walking through the door, my daughter picked the phone up and she says, you put me, I'm going to dial 911. I told her, I said, go ahead and make that call. I said, but what do you think I'm going to do to you before they get here? And I said, not only that, I said, yeah, I'll probably get arrested, but you will be taken away. You won't be a part of our family no more. She hung the phone up. And yes, I did punish her, but I did not whoop her. Okay. At that time, grounding hurt her worse than a whooping did. And I never had to be called home from work again. And 2 months later, I got laid off. The company went out of business. But I mean, youngins is going to push your parents. I'm not saying, well, I'm not going to say all of them. I'm going to say 99% of the youngins will push their parents. They know what buttons to push just to see, so forth like that.
How far they can take it.
Yeah. And there has got to be a time. Yeah. And there has got to be a time when the parent puts the foot down. Because if not, it's going to be rough later on down the road.
Yeah. All my kids had chores.
But now,
most of the time,
my kids had chores.
Going behind them and doing
it
right, but yeah, they still did it.
Oh, don't even.
Yeah, I mean,
don't even go there. We tell our daughter to clean up her bedroom. We got a bad leg. But I tell my daughter to clean up her bedroom. She would lift a mattress and throw dirty clothes under. She would stuff up underneath her bed with clothes and toys. Oh, it looked good until you started looking.
Open the closet and
I cleaned her room.
Yeah.
Mama, she cleaned my room. I said, yes, I did. She'd get mad.
And I really pissed her off one day. She would not clean her room up. So I went in there and took the door off the hinge where everybody could see it. She cleaned her room up and then begged me to put the door back up. And I told her, I said, if it's what it takes for you to keep your room clean, I'm going to leave the door off the hinge. A couple months later, it started getting dirty again. But
yeah, nowadays you got the dishwashers and everything cleans itself nowadays. Well,
Bushcraft
somewhat. I mean, because that used to be, the chore that nobody wanted.
Washing dishes.
Yeah, washing dishes. Because I'd have it like a rotate thing. So one had to do this chore, the other one had to do the chore. Next week it would rotate. and everybody hated the when it came to doing the dishes.
Yeah.
That
And
was
Lake
my
Ferry.
chore, coming up, washing dishes and clean up the living room.
Yeah, my wife, when she was growing up, her mama cooked every Sunday. And I ain't talking about no small meal, okay? We talking counter full of food, table full of food, people coming over to eat. My wife had to clean up the kitchen, you know.
That was my chore.
And
Growing up.
but it's
If we didn't, we didn't go nowhere.
but see, everybody wants to raise your kids. They think they know what's best for your kids. But until you raise that kid, I hate to say, well, I don't hate to say it. You don't know shit about that kid because a kid will manipulate you, God knows, to no end.
And to remind you, we didn't have no hot water. We had to boil water on the stove.
Yeah.
For our hot water.
They didn't even have a bathroom coming up.
No.
Neither did I. I took a bath in his little metal tub.
Yeah.
And back then it seemed like it was that big, but it was probably about that big.
just big enough where you could sit in and your knees was behind your head.
Crinkled up, yeah.
And
you had to turn your feet sideways.
Yeah. And your mama had to wash your back because you were stuck in there. You couldn't get your hands out of the tub to wash.
And this was out on the front porch. And when I say front porch, there was nobody around because it was an old shanty out in the middle of the woods.
Well, now we lived out in the country, and I'm 5 or 6 years old. Okay. We had no bathroom. Our bathroom was an outhouse, probably 50, 75 yards in the woods.
Yeah, no electricity out there either.
Now, we did have the electricity.
Oh, you had electricity? Lucky you.
We had electricity. But our telephones, it was what they called a party line back then. 4 or 5 people on one line.
You had to ring it and then, hello, yes. I'm trying to get a hold of Maud over there.
Just about it. And they would get so pissed off at me because when I needed to use the phone, somebody was always on it. So I listened to the conversation. And then they would hang up and I could use the phone. But you try to get a 5-year-old
go
to the bathroom outside by himself. Hey, as bad as I hate to say what I'm fixing to say, that kid is going to stand on the back porch. He's either going to whiz or he's going to bow. One of the two. He ain't going off that porch. But
I remember sitting on and it wasn't much of a porch, just the overhang, and there's a wood planks out there, and I used to sit there because you didn't do it in the house, well, unless it was wintertime, but you warm the buckets on the wood stove and pour them in there, and you'd hop in, and if neighbors come over for some reason, you was out there and
there you are stuck.
Yeah, naked, and you're like, can I get a towel? Because it has happened. I remember neighbors come strolling down the walkway, and then they act like nothing. Oh, hi, is your grandpa here? Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, I don't even want to go where I'm thinking.
And the thing it was the neighbors. I had a crush on the girl that lived up there.
You didn't stand up and wave back at her?
No, she was a few years older than I was too.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going where I'm thinking. But now I will honestly say, come wintertime, we had running water. That I guarantee, because we would run out to the well and run it back in the house.
Yeah.
That was our running water.
Oh, I used to hate the wintertime. Oh,
Man, yeah, hell, there was damn cracks. People didn't know what insulation was back then. I don't think back then there was a house truly insulated.
well, yeah, they had,
Unless you had a
the
rubber floor.
horsehair and hay and straw and stuff like that.
Newspaper.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people in chat knows that you find the old houses that was built back in the late 1800s or early 1900s. If you'll pull the walls down, you'll find newspaper for insulation.
Oh yeah.
Up in there. Or
yeah, Chrissy Cat. I at that point, yeah, I was like 10 shades of red.
I can't say I was ever shy. I mean, I would stand out in the parking lot beside the car and take a whiz. I didn't care who saw me. I had to go. I went.
That was my son. I got a phone call saying we have an issue with your son. What's going on? Is he okay? He said, "Oh yeah, he's fine. It's just he doesn't like using the bathroom. He goes out and relieves himself on the tree, and which is right in front of the class." So when he evidently had to go when he got off the bus, and everybody else is in line walking to go to class, and the teacher turns around and he's out there watering a tree.
That's how you can tell the difference between a country boy and a city boy.
Yeah.
Thank God that's all he had to do was take a whiz.
Well, the thing is, we had one bathroom and 5 kids, mom and dad. So
yeah,
when you had to go to the bathroom, you either waited or you ran outside and watered the tree.
if you could make it that far.
Yeah.
If not, you watered the rocks in the driveway. You know, but damn, we got so far off the subject that we started out with.
It's actually a bunker, but it's not a real bunker.
Who's wanting?
Here, I'll show you what it really is. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Oh, Reaper. Boy, do I have a story about a CB radio. Yeah, I think, yeah.
It's actually a green screen.
Back when CBs was at the peak, you had to use call letters and everything else before you got your license. And you had to have a name. Also, you wasn't allowed to use your real name when they first come out. Mine used to be called the White Knight. That was my first one. Well, I did not know the White Knight was a code word for undercover police. An unmarked car. I would get on the interstate, turn my CB on, and say, "This is the white knight. I just got on the interstate, such and such mile marker." Man, you'd see damn brake lights everywhere.
Yeah, mine was Red Rocker.
Red. My last one. What was that? Road Dog. That was my last one. Was Road Dog, and the reason I picked that one is because I was a truck driver. Okay. Yeah, I drove dump trucks. I didn't drive tractor trailers, nothing like that. But back then, dump truck drivers, back during the summertime, you was on the road before the sun come up, and you didn't get home until after the sun went down. You're talking some days, 16-hour days.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But I'm gonna tell you something. Them damn paychecks was off the hook back then. They were good. But after a while, it runs down and takes a toll.
I gotta remove the chicken and the cat. They're in space.
Yeah. But
Yeah, tonight's the blue moon, isn't it?
Is it tonight? I thought it was. Yeah, it is tonight. But you ain't gonna see nothing.
Raining.
Oh yeah, I've got too many clouds in there in the sky.
Now, why is it? And I've noticed this over the last 3+ years. Every time an event like that happens, it's cloudy.
Yeah.
There's something going on with that. I think I'm gonna call Ghostbusters and find out what's going on. But I'm gonna try to get back to where Bushcraft started off. Victory Gardens is coming back to that. The way prices have gotten in grocery stores and everything, why you still can, while they on the market, go ahead and buy your seeds now for next year. Go ahead, start saving. To be truthful about it, y'all should have been doing this.
And I'm actually going to do a video on how to store seeds for long periods of time.
Thank you.
Because I haven't even been doing it, because I've been just reusing the same seeds from the previous year. But I'm thinking about starting, because I've got a box of seeds that people have gave me and stuff, which I think is one of the best gifts you can give somebody, especially seeds that you've grown in your garden and you've harvested, and then you give them to somebody. That is like, it's like gold. It's, I mean, somebody that's worked hard in their garden and got harvested the seeds and dried them out, cleaned them and everything, put them in a package, and then gave them to you. That's one of the best gifts I think you can receive.
Yeah. Well, see, something else too, I don't think a lot of people has thought about. When everything finally hits the fan and you've got a garden out there, what would you do if you found somebody coming in your garden taking what you've grown to feed your family? You know, I know we've covered this quite a few times on there. Let's say you got a woman that lives up the road with a couple of youngins. She's doing her best to try to make it. But yet you got a garden and she's out there. stealing what you've done, worked hard to grow. How would you handle that situation?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And that's, and just like what 101 was saying last night, you got all these people putting ones in the chat about, would you stand
your ground.
your ground and fight to take the country back? Even though you could, 100% of the people said yes, there's going to be at least 25% of those that don't, for whatever reason.
You're right.
And that's the same thing if somebody was trying, taken from your garden or trying to break in your house. What would you do? You can sit here now and just sit here in front of the computer or the TV and say, "Oh, I'd do this," but when when it's down to it, that's a whole different ballgame.
And I said it last night, and I'll say it again tonight. Nobody knows what they're going to do until they get in that situation.
Yeah.
You know. Now, I remember the elders telling me when I was young, they would always plant more than what they could eat. And what they would do is it would be like a community box or whatever sitting out beside the road or whatever. The people who needed something or whatever, they would come and take it. But don't let one person try to clean that box out. You know, they will be forbidden to come
And there's
back.
a lot of people that do that, and they actually sell things like that. And it's, they put the money in there. I know a lot of people who sell eggs. They put a stand out in front of their property, homegrown eggs and all that. And they sell
Fresh
it. And believe it or not, well, depending how close you are to, cities and stuff like that. But if you're pretty far away from it, the majority of them never get ripped off or anything. It's when the closer you get to the city is when they start having issues, like all the eggs were stolen. The money box was you can tell the difference. You can have, they'll chain the thing down, and you can tell the difference between these stands, where it's at. The closer you get to the city, the more security that little stand has and stuff.
Susie D, that comment, I had no idea. You read what she posted?
100-year-old oak tree in the yard of DeSena split.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The
Fell
tree?
on the mansion. That was a big tree too. Half of it fell on his house, which was a mansion. But and if you really want to, you go back in the Bible and read. That's what they done back then too.
Mm-hmm. I did it here with. I just have this little table that I set out there at the next to the sidewalk, and put a free sign on there. And most of the people know I do it. I'll put the cucumber. And this year it was cucumbers because all the tomatoes I canned up this year because tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce is way expensive this year. But cucumbers, after I did relish and pickles and all that stuff, I put the whatever I grew out there, and they slowly disappeared. I put more out there, they would disappear.
Well, to me, look, how long we've been up on YouTube knowing one another? Just a little over a year, not much.
Yeah.
I think Bushcraft can agree with what I'm about to say. I'll help somebody that is willing to get out and help themselves. Okay. If somebody needs something, I'll do what I can to help them out. But don't take for granted that I owe you something or you're going to steal from me.
Yeah.
You know, and the biggest majority of the people, I think, are the same way. I would like to think that. Okay. Like Bushcraft said, if I've got cucumbers out to yin yang and before they go rotten, I'll give them away. But don't come into my garden think that I owe you something.
Yeah.
That's a different story right there. Lake Ferry, y'all don't have it's not cloudy up there where you at.
They're
Because
above
she
the
said, God, I wish I was in the mountains. I'd be above the clouds.
Yeah.
You know, it's coming back down to people is going to rely on other people. They're finally going to say the heck with, boy, that sounds weird coming from me, the way I said it. They're going to say the heck with the government. And then they're going to go back to how their forefathers lived, you know, where trust. That trust has got to start somewhere. And I would trust my neighbor a heck of a lot faster than I would trust a politician any day of the week. You show me or tell me one politician somewhere, some way from the time they started that they didn't steal or lie.
Well, or that more or less they don't owe somebody. And that's where it starts. I'll swing my vote your way if you can do me a favor down the road. And that's where it starts.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like I said, I don't know. I myself wouldn't trust my neighbors. Because I've already been trying. They've been trying to get money out of
a turnip.
Yeah.
Okay. I know the situation. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, it's got to start somewhere. But
and like I said, I wanted to help because it's the neighborly thing to do. But that help ended up turning into, oh, what can I get off of this guy?
Mhm.
Chaos.
Yeah.
But just don't cross the line.
Yeah. And that's basically what happened. I said that. Nope. And that's where I probably end up having to go with a lawyer to.
Well, I got to. Let me see how I can phrase this. Out of all the things that you have been taught coming up, what would be the two things that you would definitely pass on to another generation? That would help them in the future.
Well, it's stuck over here, but give them the Bible. That would be the first thing.
Now, what was that?
Give them the Bible.
Okay. You know, I really do agree with you on that right there.
Because believe it or not, I remember you go back 70s and 80s, even 70s and 80s, and I was very bad during the 80s.
That was 70s.
I could see, families going to church, family dinners, and things like that you don't see now. And it's what is being taken away from that. It's if you boil it down, it's God. That has been taken away from that, and that's where we miss those family dinners, raising the kids right, and that's just what I believe. It's just we've gone away from that, and all the science stuff. Science is good. I agree with a lot of science, but when they try to take God away from everything, say, "Oh, that didn't happen." Oh, we came from monkeys and things like that, and we came from this, and there's no God and things like that. I think that's when everything started going, to these things, and 20 different genders, those things. And
well, now let me ask this question. Let me get a one in chat. How many people remember their grandmothers being the glue of the family? Mm-hmm. It's like Bushcraft said.
Well,
Sundays,
not mine, but
you had.
I knew others.
Yeah. Well, Sundays, you had family dinners.
Yeah.
Once a year, you had reunions where you met cousins, you met your aunts, and I don't care what family it was, you always had that one aunt that you were scared to go to their house because it was so clean. She was so perfect.
The plastic covers on the couches.
Or the plastic fruit in the bowl that she never did tell the youngins it was plastic.
And they try to eat it. Yeah.
I seen the it was wax, wasn't plastic.
Well, yeah, wax. Somewhere in this universe, there is a wax apple with my teeth marked.
Once you bit down on those things, it was hard getting them back out of there.
Yeah, you got that right.
and take the legs off the coffee table or unscrew them.
You know, as a youngin', that's when you had lockjaw, because you bit down on something you really didn't want to let go, especially if it was a piece of fruit. And back then, my God, I loved fruit. I mean, I still love, but back then, you know,
rubber grapes.
yeah.
We get in trouble. We throw them across the room.
I never did throw them. I always made my own slingshots. Not until my son was born is when I bought my first slingshot.
But I remember, you know, the coffee tables, if you had a drink or a sweet tea, you would have to put a coaster down. If you didn't put a coaster down, oh boy.
Yeah.
Do they even make coasters anymore?
I think they do, but you really got to look for them. But
it's those little things that you don't see anymore, and you miss those things. At the time you didn't, but you know, and you sit down at the table and they had the little place mats.
Yeah. Or they had the crocheted olive things on it that was just big enough to set your plate, a bowl, your silverware, and your glass on. You couldn't put nothing. You couldn't even put a loaf of bread on there. I mean, a slice of bread.
Yeah. And you actually used napkins and things like that. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, you're lucky if you sit down at the table together. And that's the thing that's missing. It's that bond thing that now it's. And I see the shows where when it's dinner time, they go and sit in front of the TV and they're eating dinner and stuff. There's no how is school? You know, how is practice after school or whatever? It's what's on the TV. I'm not digging on TV. TV's good. It has its purpose and everything for entertainment and stuff. But
not nowadays.
There's no family time anymore.
I'm going to say this, and I've heard this said quite a few years ago, and I still believe it today. Family time, sitting at the kitchen table, okay, that is where 90% of the problems got solved. Even though for an hour at a time, your problems got solved at the kitchen table.
Yeah, remember family meetings.
Yeah, but in my case, the family meeting was a strap across your tail. That was my family meeting. Or what they call prepare to meet thy maker. I can't remember because you're going to be screaming his name for the next couple of minutes.
5 shares.
I remember my daddy telling me, now you got to remember, like I said, my daddy was a mountain man, okay? They had a kitchen table, chairs, no couch, no TV. The only time you was allowed in that house is when you were sick or when you lay down to go to sleep. The rest of the time, from sun up to sundown, you was out in the field working. The women folk at 11 o'clock would come in and start preparing lunch for the men folk. When it was over, when the eating was over and done with, the women stayed back, they cleaned the house, then they came back out to the fields to work. Plain and simple. There was no sitting on the couch playing games or anything like it. Well, I mean, you know.
Like Pat's saying that made 6 Afghans last year and gave them away. That used to be gift giving.
Yes,
They
it
would
did.
make things like that, and they meant more than just going out and spending $5-10 on something that wouldn't be around for the
Have
next
you
year.
priced the Afghan? I don't know if it's called Afghanistan or not, but it used to be a crocheted quilt that they put Afghan that they put on the back of the couch because it looked pretty. But yet, come wintertime, it was on the bed. And Lord, it wouldn't take but 3 of them. And you could not turn over once you was in that bed.
Yeah, we had them heavy.
Yeah, we had the heavy quilts back then. What they call a quilt nowadays, we called a damn blanket back then.
Yeah, what you were talking about not coming in the house and stuff. That never made any sense to me. But when it was time to come in, had to take your shoes off and everything at the door. And I would go in, and there was a potbelly coal stove in the middle of the shanty, and there's coal dust all around this thing. And I'm wondering, why am I taking my shoes off outside? I never understood that, but that was the rule. You had to, no shoes in the house. But I'm like, but the floor, there's coal all over the place.
Well, now you want to talk about that. And this was before asphalt and concrete roads got real popular. Okay. We're talking dirt roads, dirt sidewalks. I remember my grandmother getting out there.
Sidewalk. There was no sidewalks. It was walk down the dirt road.
Walkway in front of the house.
Oh, okay.
My grandmother made her own brooms. I've seen her many times walk out in the field, cut her straw, wrap them around a stick to sweep the walkway that was dirt. And the whole time I'm sitting there saying to myself, Granny, that's dirt. Why are you keeping it?
You didn't say anything though, did you?
Oh God, no. Not out loud you didn't.
you were getting the use of that broom.
That's when the real witches would ride that broom, because you could not outrun your grandmother. I don't care how old she was. If she was on a cane or what. And
yarn.
The last, good God. And back then, if you talk back to your grandmother, let me rephrase that. If you talk back to an elder, okay, you got your tail tore up big time.
Even if it wasn't a relation to you.
Right. Your neighbor. You need to do something about your son. He back-talked me. He said no. Your daddy or mama will come in the house and tear your tail up. And trust me, your neighbor would know you got a whooping, because they wasn't air conditioners back then. Yep. The windows was open. The fans were going if you had a fan.
If you used some bad language, you'd get your mouth washed out with soap.
Now, back then, you could wash your mouth out with soap. It didn't have all them chemicals in it.
Yeah.
Okay. And it got to the point I asked Mama for salt with that soap.
I used hot peppers. Not really hot peppers, but
yeah,
to a youngin' that was hot. So you use language like that, you're going to eat a hot pepper, and they sat there and ate that hot pepper, and they didn't say cuss words again.
No, not for a while. Not around parents anyway.
Yeah.
Sandy M said, my mama used to use wooden spoons. Oh, I don't want to go there.
Hey, suburban hillbilly.
Hello. But it's coming back to it. I've said it time and time again. It's coming, whether we like it or not. And it's going to come to the point that where your sons, your grandyoungins, they're going to move back in the house with you, for the simple fact is that's the only way that a family is going to be able to survive anymore. And I don't want to sound like I'm prejudiced when I say what I'm fixing to say, but you take a family of Hispanics, okay? They all pull together. They all put their money in a pot, to pay bills or whatever. And if there's any money left over, 90% of them, they don't go out, they don't blow it. They will save it up for a car. And I'm talking family car, or I'm talking, the bills for the house. And if they're out in the county, you see them with huge gardens, not just a couple of rows here and a couple of rows there. I'm just a big garden. That's to take care of the family for wintertime. That's the way I remember my daddy telling me, my mama telling me, just because you went to school, don't think you was getting out of chores. Even if you had to go out to the garden and pull weeds, or you had to go milk a cow, or whatever, or feed them. I remember Daddy saying he used to get up at 5 a.m. to go milk cows, slop the hogs, or feed the chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Before he went to school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
their kids complain now that they have to get up at 7 o'clock to go to school, or well, now it's like 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and it's like, what are you talking about? We used to have to get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to do chores and then go to school.
On weekends, no school on weekends. Oh God, I get to sleep in late. Yeah, right.
Nope.
My daddy. Now, this is what pissed me off every time about my daddy. 5 a.m. rolls around. Time to get up and eat breakfast. You got wood y'all got to cut. We'd be out there cutting wood. Where's Pop at? We'd go check on him. He'd be in the house asleep, taking a nap. But.
Are you going to go? Are you going live tomorrow, Jeff?
I thought about that before this show. I'm debating because we're live tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to go live tomorrow because it seemed like to me back to back like this.
Well, since 101 is probably not going to be live tomorrow.
If not, I will say yes, I'll go live, but it will probably be a part 2 of tonight, from tonight into tomorrow night, because I'm not playing nothing.
Yeah, because it kind of continued from 101's live, and then we came over here to, because that's what got me thinking about. Well, I've been thinking about it for a while, the depression stuff, and that's the stages and everything. And I'm like,
yeah,
the same thing. It's the same thing we're going through right now.
Well, I think 101 was more if shift hit and it come down to it. would you stand your ground or would
Oh.
you give in? I
Well,
think that's what his was about. But
it's
it
more than
seems like,
though.
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
But,
That
and,
conversation is more than the shift thing.
but I'm kind of wanting to change myself a little bit because it seems like I am the one who starts everything going sideways. I want, I kind of want to stay on the subject for a while instead of going here and there. And yeah, I've noticed I've done it tonight again.
That's normal though.
I think that's what people kind of like about it. It's never one thing. We
But
start off at one area and end up somewhere else.
you can go ahead and keep an eye open, see if we're going to go live tomorrow over at Jeff's. But I think we'll go ahead and pretty much end it here because we went way over our normal time.
Damn. Well, we didn't get started till 8 o'clock either.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to bring something up right quick. This is what Grace Johnson just posted. Military news. It said they are not putting T's name on the ballot.
Well, they can't really say that yet. It's not time for that, and it's not them. Who says it's them not putting the name on?
Well, that's true.
It's actually the Republican Party that puts the names on. They put their best bet,
Yeah.
and it's not time for that yet. So,
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming up tonight on Hump Day. I had to do it one more time.
and if you guys want, you can head on over to Wide Family Farm. They're live right now. I didn't know they were going live on Friday or Wednesday.
She's
Like
live
I said,
tonight.
this is not my normal time slot. I usually from 8 to 9, and it's usually I have a guest on.
Well, I appreciate being your guest tonight. I really do.
Yeah, I didn't even change any of the background from last week.
Okay, mine I'm gonna say it's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time it is for West Coast, so y'all figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to keep my time the same.
Yeah, only reason I did it a little bit later because that's my normal time slot for a guest. So I figured kind of keep it the same, but we kind of went over a bit. But that's fine. It was a good conversation.
Well,
101's not live, so
yeah, we sure for the people in chat, for the newcomers and everything, if y'all like what you hear tonight or in the past, please go down, hit like, subscribe, and share. It helps us out a lot. It kind of raises us up a little bit, not much, because YouTube don't want you to get it.
Yeah, they're good at that.
Yeah, ain't they though? So,
thanks every one of you guys for hanging out with us tonight, though.
and I want to thank all the mods in here.
Yeah,
definitely.
And
okay, I'm gonna shut up and let you take it. Take it on.
We will see you on the next one.
Bushcraft out. I had to say that.